Today we're going to talk about how nature gets ready for winter. This is a squirrel. In the summer, it has a nice open air-conditioned leafy nest. Right now, the squirrel's out looking for its winter home. It looks for a tree cavity, either an old woodpecker hole or a hole where a tree branch blew off, and that becomes the squirrel's winter home. In the summer, the raccoon has a lighter coat, but as the winter starts coming around, it grows a thicker fur coat to keep warm. Ground squirrel is one of the 4 mammals that hibernates for the whole winter. It'll go underneath the ground probably about the middle of October, and then you won't see it again till the middle of March. And so it'll be completely asleep or hibernating for the winter. Now its cousin, the chipmunk, goes underneath the ground, but it doesn't go to a complete hibernating sleep. It goes out in the fall, gathers up seeds and nuts in its cheek pouches, stores those seeds and nuts in its underground burrow, and that is what it depends upon for food. This is the second mammal hibernator. This is the groundhog. And the groundhog, like the ground squirrel, will go underneath the ground in the about the middle of October, completely sleep or hibernate for the whole winter. And to stay alive, the groundhog will go out in the fall and gather up food and store it in its body and live off of that while it's hibernating all winter long. Another mammal that hibernates, and it'll hibernate in tree cavities or caves, is our friend the bat. The one mouse that hibernates, and this is our 4th mammal hibernator, is the jumping mouse, the only mouse that hibernates for the winter. This bird has been around here all spring. At the end of August, first part of September, they're going to be migrating. They don't hibernate, but they migrate or fly south for the winter. That's the hummingbird. If you're from Iowa, this is the Iowa state bird, the goldfinch. All spring and summer has been flying around with it. The male has a nice bright yellow flock of feathers. In the winter, the goldfinch stays around here, but in order to stay warm, it grows an extra 1,000 feathers. So the male in the wintertime looks like this. It's not bright yellow, it looks like the female does all year long. This little weasel looks like this in the warm weather because there's a lot of brown in nature. In the winter, when there's a lot of snow on the ground, it grows a brand new fur coat that's white for the winter, like the snow. And this is our national bird, the bald eagle. In the warmer weather, it's up north where the waters are open, but when they start to freeze over, it comes down to our area and fishes for his food in the open areas around here. And this is a neat little mouse called a deer mouse. The deer mouse has the ability to actually climb. It likes to climb up and find an abandoned nest. But then it wants to have that nest warm enough for the winter. Since that nest is around the cattails, the deer mouse just takes these seeds from the cattail, lines that abandoned red-winged blackbird nest with those seeds, and now it has its nice insulated, warm nest for the winter. The toad has to be underneath the ground in the wintertime so it can hibernate. It's a hibernator. It's an amphibian that hibernates for the winter. A reptile that hibernates for the winter is very common all around Iowa and Illinois, and this is a reptile called a garter snake. It's our most common snake we have around. The garter snake will hibernate for the winter, but what it'll do, instead of just finding a place to hole up by itself, it has a slumber party. As many as 40 or 50 garter snakes will den up underneath the ground, underneath a wood pile for the winter. That way they all are able to hibernate together and keep warm. Great horned owl, so named because it has these feathers on the top of the head that stick up like horns. Great horned owl, male and female, will mate for life. They sometimes will be out in the woods and living apart for a while, but then in the fall they come back together. They're starting to get ready for winter, pairing up and looking around for an old abandoned crow's nest or hawk's nest, and that's where they'll make their home for the winter. Because it's right in the middle of winter that the female lays her eggs and spends 30 days sitting on those eggs. Thank you for watching, and be sure and follow us on our Black Hawk State Historic Site website and Facebook. You can keep up to date with all the things that are happening, and really we'd like to extend an invitation for you to come and visit us firsthand. Just explore nature and be a part of it and take advantage of this fantastic wonder of the Quad Cities.